Hi, I'm Cindy Wilson, and this is Home Sweet Home Craft Room Creations. Welcome to the Craft Room. If this is your first time here, welcome aboard. If you've been here before, you know the routine. I'm going to make something, you're going to make something, we're all going to have a good time. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's do this. As you can see, I have been thrifting again, and I've picked up some pretty amazing pieces with the intent of taking them and recreating some restoration hardware pieces that I had seen online. This little darling here for $6, I'm assuming used to be a wooden salad bowl. I did not paint it, I got it like that. These other two pieces, just your plain old everyday cereal bowl possibly, and a drinking glass. And then there is this piece. Now this is the mother lode of, oh my god, I can't believe I found this for $5, but I did, and it's going to fall right in line with everything I want to do with these pieces, these dupes I should say, for the pieces from Restoration Hardware. The first piece we're going to do is the textured organic bowl, which on Restoration Hardware's site is $225. Well, that wasn't going to happen, obviously, and that salad bowl that I found at the thrift store just happens to be the right size, the right shape, and I had no problems with painting this one considering somebody already had before me. And I'm pretty sure of that because when I went to wash it, bits of green paint were washing off on the inside, and the cloth was turning kind of a reddish color when I washed the outside. So somebody thought this was okay to take and paint and then possibly realized you couldn't use it for food after. I'm really not sure how it ended up being painted, but it did. It ended up at a thrift store and it ended up being mine. So the process for this one was pretty easy peasy, straightforward. Black chalk paint with a tablespoon of baking soda in it, and painted that puppy up, and it looked amazing. I think one coat was good enough. I didn't have to do a second one. I'm thanking the chalk paint for that, or the baking soda for that one. And presto, here she is in all her glory. I love the way it turned out. It's rustic, it's rough, it feels great, it looks old, and that was the whole purpose of this. And it did not cost me $275. Second one is the restoration dupe of something called a Baobab Bowl collection. I hope I didn't butcher that too badly. That's where my cereal bowl and my drinking glass came in handy. And just a little bit of E6000 on it to get it to adhere together. I left this piece sit overnight just to make sure that the paint cured properly. As you can see, I got a little over anxious there, and yeah, anyway, I did let it dry overnight before I went into and painted it. This one here, again with the black chalk paint, and just a 2 tablespoons of baking soda in this one here. And I started originally by painting it black, and I don't know, I was thinking I just done the bowl black, maybe I shouldn't do that, maybe I should. And later on down the line, you're going to see I changed my mind. But again, another easy peasy Restoration Hardware dupe. These ones here were running for, if I remember correctly, oh gee, I can't think of the price offhand right now on this one. Sorry, I'm losing my voice again. What else is new? This one here I believe was $350. I'd have to probably rewind the tape back to find out for sure, but I'm 99% sure that's what it was. And like I said, black chalk paint, 2 tablespoons baking soda. We're going to get that textured look, but in the end, I did not want it to be black. And we're going to take the textured spray, Make It Stone, I believe it's called, and we're going to spray that over top of the black here right shortly. And we're going to change this completely to a lighter color. Once our Make It Stone Krylon product was dry, I grabbed some folk art. The color is called Oatmeal, and some Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. Kind of mixed the two together, came up with a little funkier, lighter color than the oatmeal, but not as white as the bright white would have been on its own. And all I did was take a sponge and sponge that in. The Krylon spray does hold really well when you get it wet, and it didn't affect it in any way, shape, or form. It kept its texture, and it kept the look that I wanted. And yeah, in the end, it looked absolutely incredible. And again, here we go. It did not cost me $350. I think this one cost me $3. I really hate to say it, maybe $4 at most if you really want to count how much paint I used. But at the most, $4 for this piece here. And yeah, you can't beat it, that's for sure. It's not anything close to $350, I'll tell you that much. And I absolutely love it. The next piece is the found terracotta grain vessel. And the small one of this was $425. Mine, by measurements, ended up being about the size of the medium one, which was $525. Well, to start off, my jug cost only $5. So that was a good start, I think. And I took some air dry clay. I wanted to beef up the rim of the top of this here, or the neck of this, just a little bit. And I took some air dry clay, kind of rolled it out into a long snake-like form, and secured it once I got what I wanted with a little bit of E6000 to hold it into place, and molded it over the top, and then painted. And I'll let you watch that for a second while it goes through the process. Also, if you do not have E6000, I'm sure any other Gorilla Glue, something secure like that. This was just a matter of making sure that this did not fall off or release or let go and end up crumbled on the floor after the whole process was done. And I've done this in the past with Gorilla Glue and now the E6000, and so far so good. I have not had an issue, I should say, with the air dry clay releasing off of whatever I've glued it to. So yeah, just mold it into place if you're going to try this, and get the form that you want while the clay is still soft. Do it. Well, this one wasn't too bad. I think the whole process was 2 days to dry. I hate to say it, it was a little bit longer than I thought, but I think that's because the craft room is down in the basement, and the air is just a little cooler and damper down here, no matter how much heat I put on in the room with me. The floors and just general temperature of the room seems to be a little bit cooler than the rest of the house. So I'm going to blame that on the slow drying time. But once it did dry, it was secure in place. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Once the piece was dry, I took 100 grit sandpaper and gave it a light sanding and took off like the rougher edges, things that, I didn't exactly pay a lot of close attention to because this was supposed to be an older, aged, rustic piece. And when it was dry, I just kind of felt bad that maybe I shouldn't have left so many things unmolded, I guess you could say. So I just went over it with the sandpaper and gave it some new form, gave it some new shape, gave it the look that somebody really cared about it. Once it was sanded, I just took a paper towel and lightly dusted over top of it just to get the excess off, because again, there is going to be baking soda in the paint to help with the texturing of the project and just to give it that rough, rustic, aged feeling. And excuse me again, I just started with the black, actually. The folk art black chalk paint was my first layer over top, nothing other than a bit of baking soda mixed into it. And once, I'm really horrible, I'm sorry about this, losing my voice today. Once that was dry, I took a light gray and a color called Castle by Folk Art and lightly dry brushed those colors into the black surface of the jug to kind of, again, add to that aged, older, worn effect. The nice thing about doing pieces like this, when you're going for that aged, worn look, there is no right way, there is no wrong way. I don't think there are any right or wrong colors either. It's kind of a personal taste thing. You go in, you do what you need to do to make it look the way you want it to. Whether it's by pouncing it on, it's by brushing it on, it's by taking your hands and rubbing the color in by hand or rubbing dirt into it. Whatever works for you, you do it. And when you're happy, that's when you stop, and that's the way I do things. With this piece, after the paint was all dried and everything was painted the way I wanted it and looked the way I wanted it to, I did take a matte finish gloss sealer by Krylon and gave it a light coating of it. You can't really even notice it on there, but it is on there. And just to help it hold it together better. I don't know. Like, it was just, this was one that I wanted to make sure that if I damp wiped it or dried it in any shape or form, touched it with anything damp, that it would hold its color, that there wouldn't be an issue. The fourth project is not, I repeat, is not a restoration hardware. It stemmed from me going into the dollar store and finding a granite cutting board and wondering if by any chance I could do anything with this $5 granite cutting board. I looked at restoration hardware, could not find anything, but found a company by the name of Hubert that makes supplies, sells for $147, just the board itself. The additional pedestal underneath is $30. So the two pieces combined is $177.82, which for a piece of granite that's 16 by 11 inches big with a metal riser underneath, I thought was absolutely ridiculous. Looked at it and said, yes, definitely. Challenge accepted. So I went to the dollar store, picked up that granite cutting board, brought it home, and I'll tell you, this thing is heavy. No two ways about it. And yeah, for $5, you can't go wrong. I'll tell you that much. So this one, easy peasy, straightforward. Take that granite cutting board, and I decided for the feet, I was not crazy about that metal whatever thing underneath happening there. So out came the wooden beads, the old faithful riser feet, I guess you could call them, and just a smidge of black chalk paint, again mixed with just a little bit of baking soda. I'm taking right out of the container because that's a baking soda container now with that black paint in it. Covered over the black beads, tossed them into a bowl, grabbed my heat gun, and dried them probably less than 2 minutes. Once they were dry, I took them and put that clear gloss sealer on them. Once that was done, they were sealed in, life was good. I took the board, flipped it over, grabbed a little E6000, and on each of those bottom pads, which they were kind of a rubbery texture, I guess, and I'm assuming just so it wouldn't scratch your countertops, it wouldn't slide all over the place either with those on. Anyway, great little markers for putting your glue on, and so yeah, the E6000 went straight onto those, and once that was in place, I grabbed the glue gun and the beads themselves, loaded up the inside and just a smidge of the outer edge of the bead on the opening, and put those onto the bottom of the cutting board. And that was my feet, and that was it. All said and done, I threw together a little mini cheese platter, or cheese and cracker platter. No wine available, it was a little early in the morning for that. But the board looks great with its little feet, and it doesn't cost $147. And I'm really happy with this piece, and it kind of goes with the rest of the higher end, a little more expensive pieces that were created today. And here are all of them together. Absolutely amazing, I think. Loving every one of them and looking forward to having them throughout the house. Here and there I'll find places for each one of them. And if you enjoyed doing this with me today, thanks for being there, and hope you come back again. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye for now.